Hello, my name is Daniel Kane, and I'm telling you this story because I don't know how much time I have left. In the summer of 1969, I came to Black Hollow, West Virginia, chasing a better life, but the mine I worked in became my prison. I broke a stone, black as night, veined with orange fire, that wasn't meant to be touched, and drank water I was warned would mark my soul. Now, something follows me. A shadow with eyes like burning embers, whispering my name in the dark. They call it the Keeper, and it's older than the mountains, older than the town's secrets buried in ice and blood. I've seen my friends' faces frozen in chambers that shouldn't exist, and every step I take, the water drips louder, pulling me back to the mine. This is my confession, my warning, maybe my last words. If you dare to follow my story, stick with me through the shadows of Black Hollow, but be warned, some doors, once opened, never close. If you find this tale chilling, hit that subscribe button, give it a like, and drop a comment to let me know you're with me. Let's face the darkness together. My hands shake as I write this, the pen scratching against the cheap notebook I bought at the general store in Black Hollow. The ink's running low, and the words blur on the page, maybe because my eyes are burning, or maybe because I haven't slept right in weeks. I'm not sure who I'm writing this for. Maybe for you, whoever you are, or maybe just to keep myself sane. If you're reading this, heed my warning. Stay away from the mines. Don't touch the black stone with orange veins. Don't drink the water. I did both, and now something follows me, something with eyes like burning embers, whispering my name in the dark. I don't know if it's real or if I'm losing my mind, but I need to tell this story before it's too late. My name is Daniel Kane, and this is what happened to me in the summer of 1969 in a godforsaken town called Black Hollow. I was 20, just a kid from Wheeling, West Virginia, tired of bagging groceries for pennies at a supermarket where the fluorescent lights buzzed like dying flies. The job was a dead end, the kind of work that makes you feel like you're drowning in slow motion. Then Tommy, a buddy from high school, told me about a gig with Harrow Coal Company. "Safest job a man could ask for," he said, parroting the recruiter's pitch. "Pays better than anything around here." I didn't think twice. I threw some clothes in a duffel bag, hugged my ma goodbye, and took a Greyhound to Black Hollow, a speck of a town buried in the Appalachians, where the mountains loomed like silent judges and the air carried the bitter tang of coal dust. Black Hollow wasn't much to look at. A single main road, rutted and dusty, ran through it, flanked by sagging wooden houses with peeling paint. The general store sold stale cigarettes and canned beans. The bar, the Rusty Pick, served whiskey so cheap it burned going down. The mine sat on the edge of town, a black moor in the earth, its entrance framed by rusted scaffolding and faded warning signs nobody bothered to read. The company shoved us into clapboard shacks near the mine, each one a mirror of the last, creaking floors, rattling windows, and a stove that barely worked. I shared mine with 3 other guys, all of us too bone-tired after shifts to talk much. Life was a grind, up at 4 a.m., choke down black coffee, clock in, dig until your arms screamed, clock out, drink, sleep, repeat. I didn't have the money to break the cycle. Nobody did. The mine was older than the company let on, built on a cave system that stretched back centuries. The deeper tunnels were a maze of glistening stalactites and stalagmites, like the earth was sweating. Water dripped constantly, a relentless plink-plink that burrowed into your skull. Training lasted a week. How to swing a pickaxe without sparking, how to spot coal veins, how to brace a tunnel to keep it from crushing you. They mentioned risks, lung disease, gas leaks, collapses, but brushed them off. "Rare as a blue moon," the foreman said, spitting tobacco juice into the dirt. What they didn't mention was what hid behind their polished safety manuals. They didn't tell us about the water or the stone. My first week, I shadowed a miner named Earl, a wiry man in his late 40s with a face like weathered leather and eyes that saw too much. He'd been underground for 13 years, longer than most, and moved with a quiet confidence that made you trust him. He showed me the ropes, angled the pickaxe just right, listened for the groan of a weakening tunnel. He pointed out small things too, the way stalactites shimmered in the lantern light, or faint scratches on the older walls, almost like carvings, too worn to decipher. Earl had a friendliness that felt out of place, like he was compensating for the mine's darkness with his crooked smile. "You'll get used to it," he told me one day, as we ate sandwiches in a dim chamber, the air thick with dust. "Keep your head down, don't think too much. Thinking's trouble down here." I chewed stale bread, nodding. "What kind of trouble?" He didn't answer right away. His eyes flicked to the shadows, like he was checking for listeners. "Don't poke where you shouldn't," he said finally, "and don't drink the water." I laughed, thinking it was a joke. "What, it got coyotes?" He didn't smile. His face hardened, and something flickered in his eyes, fear or something deeper. "Don't drink it," he repeated, "and if you see a black stone with orange in it, don't touch it. Walk away." I opened my mouth to ask more, but the whistle blew, ending our break. Earl stood, dusted off his overalls, and walked off without another word. That was the last I saw of him. His final shift ended that week, and he left to live with his girlfriend up north. I never got his number, never heard from him again. But his words stuck like a splinter in my mind. For 2 years I fell into the mine's rhythm, up at 4 a.m, work till noon, eat a cold lunch in the dark, work till 6 p.m, go home, drink, sleep. It was a cage, but it was all I had. The company didn't care about safety, not really. We worked in groups of 5, but if someone was sick, you might be down to 3 or alone. On those days, we stuck close, mining side by side. If one guy hit coal, the others moved on to scout new veins. It wasn't safe, but it was the job. One day, 2 years in, my group was down to 3, me, Jimmy, and Cal. Jimmy found a coal pocket and started digging. Cal found another nearby. That left me alone, pickaxe in hand, searching for something worth breaking. I wandered into an untouched chamber, a wide cavern with a stream trickling through it. Stalactites hung like jagged teeth, their tips glistening like wet glass. The air was cool, almost peaceful, and for a moment I forgot the mine's weight. It was beautiful, like a cathedral carved by time. I picked a spot on the wall and swung. The stone was softer than usual, crumbling like packed dirt. I figured it was a weak seam, nothing special. But as I dug deeper, something strange happened. The stone began to glow, faint at first, like moonlight on water. I blinked, thinking my eyes were playing tricks, but the light grew stronger with each strike. My heart quickened. I chipped faster, sweat beading on my forehead until the wall gave way to a black rock veined with orange. This black wasn't just dark, it was a void, swallowing light, making my stomach lurch. The orange veins pulsed with a brilliance that hurt to look at, like staring into fire. The longer I stared, the darker the black seemed, pulling me in. My breath caught. I'd never seen anything like it. I needed to show the foreman this could be my ticket to a raise. Earl's warning echoed, "Don't touch the black and orange stone." I pushed it aside. It was gone, probably just hazing me. I swung my pickaxe with all my strength. The rock shattered into glowing dust, sparkling like embers. For a second, I felt triumphant. Then a roar like 100 tons of dynamite erupted behind me. I spun around, lantern swinging, and saw the entrance collapse in a cascade of rock and dust. I stumbled back, coughing, heart pounding. Jimmy and Cal's shouts echoed faintly, too distant to make out. I was trapped. The lantern cast jagged shadows, and the plink-plink of the stream was the only sound. I sank to the ground, clutching my pickaxe. The glowing dust, what I'd later call Mineral X, settled, its orange light fading. The first hour, I paced, taking stock. Lantern, half-empty 50-ounce water bottle, 2 protein bars. The air was breathable. I knew they'd come for me. I watched the stream, studied the stalactites, but by hour 5, hunger gnawed. By hour 6, I ate both bars, guzzling half my water. By hour 10, the bottle was empty, my throat like sandpaper. The stream taunted me. Earl's voice rang, "Don't drink the water, was it poison? Hallucinogens? A prank?" I got angry. Stupid old man. By hour 12, my mouth was too dry to swallow. My stomach ate itself. The stream glittered inviting. I crawled to it, hands shaking. What would happen? I didn't care. I filled my bottle, the water cold, and drank. It tasted clean, too perfect. I waited for sickness, visions, nothing. I drank more, belly aching, and laughed, the sound echoing. Earl lied. I curled up and slept. I woke to pounding, a blinding light cutting through. Jimmy burst in, face streaked with dirt. "Kane, you okay?" They gave me water, a sandwich, and led me out. I'd been trapped for 12 hours. The company gave me a week off and a raise. Hush money, I figured. I went back to work, but I wasn't the same. I heard drips where there shouldn't be, whispers saying my name. I told myself it was trauma, but I knew better. The water, the stone. 3 weeks later, I was back, swinging my pickaxe. Then I heard it, a loud drip. I turned, expecting a stalactite, but water seeped from the wall, pooling at my feet. That wasn't there before. I stepped closer, lantern shaking, and saw my reflection in the pool. My eyes weren't mine, they glowed orange, bright as flame. I stumbled back, heart racing. At the tunnel's end, a shadow stood, tall, still, with eyes like burning coals. My name whispered through the dark. I ran, the drip chasing me. I don't know why I'm still writing this. Maybe it's to keep my hands busy, to stop them from shaking. Maybe it's because I need someone, anyone, to know what's happening to me. The words spill out like blood from a wound, and I'm not sure if they're saving me or damning me further. My name is Daniel Kane, and I'm trapped in Black Hollow, West Virginia, in the summer of 1969. I thought the mine was my way out of a dead-end life, but it's become a cage. 3 weeks ago, I was buried alive in a cave-in after shattering a strange black stone veined with orange, what I call Mineral X. I drank the water I was warned never to touch. Now, something follows me, a shadow with eyes like burning embers, whispering my name in the dark. I see it in the tunnels, in the reflections of puddles, in the corners of my dreams. I don't know if it's real or if I'm losing my mind, but I know one thing. It started with the water. After the cave-in, I took a week off, holed up in my shack, trying to shake the feeling that something was wrong. The company gave me a raise, hush money I figured, to keep me from talking about the collapse, but the money didn't help. I couldn't sleep without hearing the plink-plink of water dripping, couldn't close my eyes without seeing those orange eyes staring back. I told myself it was trauma, the kind of thing that happens when you're trapped underground for 12 hours. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. The water had done something to me. Or maybe it was Mineral X, or both. I went back to work because I had no choice. Bills don't pay themselves, and Black Hollow isn't the kind of place you leave easily. The town itself felt different after the cave-in. Black Hollow was never welcoming, but now it seemed to watch me. The main road, rutted and dusty, stretched past sagging houses where curtains twitched as I walked by. The Rusty Pick, the bar where miners drowned their sorrows, was quieter now, the laughter forced. The general store clerk, a wiry old man named Amos, stared a little too long when I bought cigarettes, like he knew something I didn't. Even my housemates, Jimmy, Cal, and a new guy named Roy, kept their distance. They didn't ask about the cave-in, didn't mention the whispers I let slip about the stone or the water. Maybe they thought I was crazy, maybe they were right. I started keeping a notebook, scribbling down everything I could remember about that day in the mine. The glow of Mineral X, the way it seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. The collapse, sudden and violent, like the earth itself was angry. The water, cold and too pure, and the way nothing happened when I drank it, until it did. I wrote about the shadow I saw in the tunnel 3 weeks later, its orange eyes burning through the dark, my name echoing in a voice that wasn't human. Writing helped at first. It gave me something to hold on to, a way to make sense of the impossible. But then I started noticing things in the notebook I didn't remember writing. A single word scrawled in the margins: run. A sketch of a jagged stone, black with orange streaks, drawn in ink so heavy it bled through the page. My handwriting, but not my memory. I told myself it was exhaustion. I'd been working 12-hour shifts, swinging a pickaxe until my shoulders screamed, breathing coal dust that coated my lungs. Sleep was a luxury I couldn't afford, not with the nightmares waiting. But the more I wrote, the more I felt like I was being watched. Not just in the mine, but in my shack, in the bar, even on the empty road at night. The air in Black Hollow was heavier now, thick with a silence that wasn't natural. The mountains loomed closer, their shadows swallowing the town at dusk. I started avoiding mirrors, afraid I'd see those orange eyes staring back from my own face again. One night, I couldn't take the silence anymore. I grabbed my jacket and headed to the Rusty Pick, hoping a drink would dull the edge. The bar was half empty, the jukebox playing a scratchy Johnny Cash song that nobody listened to. I sat at the counter, nursing a whiskey, when an old man slid onto the stool next to me. He was ancient, with a face like crumpled paper and eyes that seemed to see too much. His hands were gnarled, knuckles swollen from years underground. I'd seen him around town, always alone, always watching. The locals called him Old Man Pritchard, though I didn't know if that was his real name. "You're the kid from the cave-in," he said, not looking at me. His voice was rough, like gravel under boots. "I heard you got lucky," I shrugged, staring into my glass. "Ah, yeah, lucky." He chuckled, a dry, humorless sound. "Ain't no luck in Black Hollow, boy, not in that mine." I glanced at him, my skin prickling. "What do you mean?" He took a sip of his beer, slow and deliberate. "You saw something down there, didn't you? Something that ain't coal." I froze, my grip tightening on the glass. I hadn't told anyone about Mineral X, not even Jimmy or Cal. "How do you know that?" He leaned closer, his breath sour with beer and tobacco. "This town's got secrets, Kane. The mine's older than the company, older than the town. Built on land that don't belong to us. The people who lived here before, Cherokee, maybe older, called it cursed. Said the earth holds things that don't like being dug up." My mouth went dry, but I forced a laugh. "You're talking ghost stories, old man." He didn't smile. "You drank the water, didn't you?" The bar seemed to go quiet, the jukebox fading into a hum. I set my glass down, my hand shaking. "How do you know about the water?"
"'Cause I've seen it before," he said. "Back in 42, I was in that mine. Found a stone black as night with orange veins that glowed like fire. Broke it open, just like you. Then the water came. Not a flood, mind you, just a trickle, enough to tempt a thirsty man. I drank it, and then I saw him." My heart thudded. "Who?" Pritchard's eyes locked onto mine, unblinking. "The keeper. Tall, dressed in black, with eyes like burning coals. He don't speak much, but when he does, it's your name. And once he's got you marked, he don't let go." I wanted to laugh, to tell him he was crazy, but the memory of those orange eyes in the tunnel stopped me. "What does he want?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "Your soul," Pritchard said, "or something worse. The water marks you, Kane. It's not just water, it's a door. Opens you up to things that ain't supposed to be here. The stone's part of it too. Break it, and you wake him up." I swallowed hard, the whiskey sour in my stomach. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" he snorted. "I did. Back in 42, I told the foreman. Next day, they transferred me to a new mine. Said I was imagining things up, but I ain't the only one. Every few years, someone finds that stone, drinks the water, and then they're gone, lost in a cave-in or just vanish. The company knows, boy. They always know." I sat there, the bar spinning around me. Pritchard finished his beer and stood, his shadow long and thin in the dim light. "If you're smart, you'll leave Black Hollow, but it's probably too late. You're marked now." He walked out, leaving me alone with my thoughts. I paid for my drink and stumbled back to my shack, the night air cold against my skin. Pritchard's words echoed, "The water marks you." I tried to sleep, but the nightmares came. Orange eyes in the dark, water rising around me, my name whispered by a voice that wasn't human. The next day, I went back to the mine, pickaxe in hand, determined to prove it was all in my head. But as I worked, I noticed something. The walls were wet, slick with water that hadn't been there before. I swung my pickaxe, and the stone crumbled too easily, revealing a faint glow. My heart stopped. It was Mineral X, black and orange, pulsing like a heartbeat. I backed away, Pritchard's warning ringing in my ears, but then I saw it, a hole in the wall just big enough to crawl through, glowing faintly with orange light. I hadn't seen it before. I looked around, but Jimmy and Cal were too far to notice. Against every instinct, I crawled through. The tunnel was narrow, the air cold enough to make my breath fog. The walls were smooth, almost polished, and studded with flecks of Mineral X that glowed faintly. I crawled until the tunnel opened into a chamber lit by strange shafts of light from the ceiling. But we were too deep for sunlight. The air grew colder, my breath visible, and the walls turned to ice, clear, slick, impossible at this depth. I approached one, wiping away the frost, and froze. Behind the ice was a face. Jimmy's face, eyes wide, mouth open in a silent scream. But Jimmy was alive, working in the next tunnel, wasn't he? A sound came from the darkness ahead, sharp and grating like metal on ice. It grew louder, closer. I turned to run, but the tunnel seemed longer now, twisting in ways it hadn't before. And then I saw them, orange eyes burning in the dark, watching me. My name echoed, a rasp that cut through the air. I scrambled through the hole, back to the mine, and when I looked back, the hole was gone. I ran to the surface, gasping, and told the foreman I was sick. He didn't ask questions, just sent me home. But as I left, I saw something in the dirt outside the mine, a footprint, too large, too deep, with a faint orange glow in its center. I don't know if these words will ever reach you, or if they're just a scream into the void. My hands tremble as I write, the pen slipping in my sweat-slicked fingers, the pages of this notebook curling from the damp air in my shack. I'm Daniel Kane, and I'm still in Black Hollow, West Virginia, in the summer of 1969, though I'm not sure how much longer I'll last. 3 weeks ago, I was trapped in a cave-in after shattering a black stone veined with orange, Mineral X, I call it. I drank the water I was warned never to touch, and now something follows me. A shadow with eyes like burning embers, whispering my name. Last week, I crawled through a hole in the mine that shouldn't exist, found a chamber of ice with Jimmy's face frozen inside, though he's still alive, working beside me. Or so I thought. The hole vanished when I escaped, but I saw a footprint outside the mine, glowing orange, too large to be human. Old Man Pritchard's words haunt me. The water marks you. The keeper doesn't let go. I'm marked, and I don't know if I'm running from a monster or my own mind. I haven't slept right since the ice chamber. My dreams are flooded with water, cold and endless, and voices, Jimmy's, Cal's, others I don't recognize, begging me to find them. I wake up gasping, my clothes damp, though I haven't been near a faucet. The notebook I've been keeping is worse. Pages I don't remember writing are filled with jagged sketches of Mineral X, words like run and he sees you scrawled in my handwriting. I hid the notebook under my mattress, but last night I found it on my kitchen table, open to a page with a single line. Go back. I burned the page, but the words are seared into my head. Black Hollow feels like a trap now. The town's always been quiet, but it's suffocating lately. The main road, rutted and dusty, seems to stretch longer each day, the houses leaning closer, their windows like eyes. The rusty pick is nearly empty, the jukebox silent. Even Amos at the general store avoids my gaze, muttering under his breath when I buy cigarettes. My housemates, Jimmy, Cal and Roy, act strange too. They don't talk about the mine anymore, don't ask why I've been jumpy since the cave-in. Jimmy especially seems off. His laugh is too loud, his eyes too bright, like he's trying to hide something. I keep thinking about his face in the ice, mouth open in a scream, but he's here, isn't he? I see him every day. Or do I? I tried to talk to Old Man Pritchard again, hoping he'd explain more about the keeper, the water, the stone. I found him outside the bar one evening, sitting on a bench, staring at the mountains. His hands shook as he lit a cigarette, the flame casting shadows on his wrinkled face. "You went back, didn't you?" he said, not looking at me. "After I told you to leave." I swallowed hard. "I didn't mean to. I found a hole in the mine. It led to something. Ice everywhere, and a face. Jimmy's face, frozen inside." Pritchard's eyes narrowed. "You're deeper in it now, boy. That hole ain't just a hole. It's a door. The water opened it, and the stone woke it. You're seeing what they don't want you to see." "Who's they?" I asked, my voice shaking. He leaned closer, his breath sour. "The company. The ones who built this mine on cursed land. They know about the keeper, about the stone. They've known since the first miners disappeared in the 1800s. They keep digging, because that stone's worth more than coal. But every time someone breaks it, the keeper takes his due." I wanted to laugh, to call him crazy, but the memory of those orange eyes stopped me. "What does it want with me?" Pritchard's voice dropped to a whisper. "Your soul, or worse. You drank the water, Kane. It's in you now. It lets you see the doors, but it also lets him see you." I stumbled back to my shack, his words looping in my head. I didn't go to work the next day, claiming I was sick. The foreman didn't argue, just gave me a look that made my skin crawl. I spent the day in town avoiding the mine, trying to clear my head. I wandered into the general store, hoping to find something, anything to distract me. That's when I saw it. A dusty display case in the corner holding old photographs and newspaper clippings about Black Hollow's history. One caught my eye, a yellowed article from 1919 headlined, "Miners Missing in Black Hollow Cave-In." The photo showed a group of men, grim-faced, standing outside the mine. One of them, in the back, looked eerily like Pritchard, though that was impossible. He'd have been a kid in 1919. The article mentioned a strange black stone found before the collapse and how the company denied any wrongdoing. The last line was cut off, the paper torn. I asked Amos about it. He shrugged, avoiding my eyes. "Old news," he muttered. "Folks around here don't like digging up the past." I left the store, my head spinning. The company knew, they'd always known. I went back to my shack and pulled out my notebook, flipping through the pages. A new sketch had appeared, a rough outline of a man in black, his eyes 2 orange smudges. I slammed the book shut, my heart pounding. I couldn't stay away from the mine. I had to know what was happening, had to find that hole again. If Jimmy's face was in the ice, maybe the others, Cal, the missing miners, were there too. Maybe I could save them. The next day, I went back to work, pickaxe in hand, my stomach churning. The mine felt different now, the air heavier, the plink-plink of water louder. Jimmy and Cal worked nearby, their lanterns casting flickering shadows. I kept my distance, watching Jimmy out of the corner of my eye. His movements were jerky, his smile forced. I wondered if it was really him, or something wearing his face. I found the spot where I'd seen the hole before, near the chamber, where I'd broken Mineral X. The wall was smooth now, no sign of the opening, but the stone was wet, water seeping through cracks that hadn't been there yesterday. I ran my hand over it, and my fingers came away slick, glowing faintly orange in the lantern light. My breath caught. I glanced around. Jimmy and Cal were out of sight, and started digging, my pickaxe biting into the soft stone. It crumbled easily, too easily, revealing flecks of Mineral X that pulsed like a heartbeat. The wall gave way, and there it was, the hole glowing faintly orange, just big enough to crawl through. I hesitated, Pritchard's warning echoing. The water opened it, but I had to know. I dropped it to my knees and crawled through, the tunnel cold and tight around me. The air grew colder, my breath fogging, and the walls turned to ice, clear and slick, impossible at this depth. The tunnel opened into a vast chamber, lit by strange shafts of light from above, though we were too deep for sunlight. The floor was a frozen lake, reflecting the light in jagged patterns. The walls were lined with ice, and in them I saw shapes, human shapes, frozen like statues, their faces twisted in fear. I approached one, wiping away the frost, and my heart stopped. It was Cal, his eyes wide, his mouth open in a silent scream. But Cal was alive, wasn't he? I'd seen him this morning. I stumbled back, my lantern shaking, and saw more faces. Jimmy, other miners I didn't recognize, all trapped in the ice. A sound came from the darkness ahead, sharp and grating like metal on ice. It grew louder, closer, and I knew what it was. The Keeper. I ran, the tunnel twisting around me longer than before. My name echoed, a rasp that cut through the air. Orange eyes burned in the dark, watching me. I scrambled through the hole back to the mine, and when I looked back, the hole was gone. I collapsed, gasping, my hands sticky with orange-tinted water. Outside in the dirt, I saw another footprint, larger, deeper, glowing faintly orange. The words I'm writing feel like a confession, a plea, or maybe a last will and testament. I don't know if anyone will read this, or if these pages will end up buried in the dirt of Black Hollow, West Virginia, like everything else in this cursed town. My name is Daniel Kane, and it's the summer of 1969. I came here chasing a better life, but the mine has claimed me. It started with a black stone veined with orange, Mineral X, I called it, shattered by my pickaxe, followed by a cave-in that trapped me for 12 hours. I drank the water I was warned never to touch, and now something follows me. A shadow with eyes like burning embers, whispering my name. Old Man Pritchard called it the Keeper, said it marked me when I drank the water. Last week, I crawled through a hole in the mine that shouldn't exist, found a chamber of ice with the faces of my friends, Jimmy, Cal, others, frozen inside, though they're still alive, or so I thought. The hole vanished, but the footprints outside, glowing orange, tell me the Keeper is no longer confined to the mine. I'm running out of time, and I don't know if I'm fighting a monster or my own fractured mind.
I haven't been back to the mine since I saw Cal's face in the ice. I told the foreman I was sick, and he let me go without a word, his eyes cold and knowing. I stayed in my shack, curtains drawn, avoiding the mirrors that seemed to watch me. The notebook I've been keeping is a mess now, pages filled with sketches I don't remember drawing, words like run and he sees you in my handwriting, and one new line that chills me. You can't leave. I burned the notebook in the stove, watching the pages curl into ash, but the words lingered like they were written in my blood. The air in Black Hollow is heavier now, thick with a silence that presses against my skull. The mountains loom closer, their shadows swallowing the town at dusk, and the plink-plink of water haunts me, even in my shack, where no water should be. I tried to leave Black Hollow once, after the ice chamber. I packed my duffel bag, bought a bus ticket to Wheeling, and stood at the station on the edge of town. But as I waited, the air grew cold, my breath fogging, and I saw it, a footprint in the dirt, too large, glowing faintly orange. My name whispered from the shadows, low and rasping, and the bus never came. I stumbled back to my shack, heart pounding, and haven't tried leaving since. The town won't let me go, or maybe the Keeper won't. I needed answers, so I went looking for Old Man Pritchard. I found him at the Rusty Pick, sitting alone in a corner, nursing a beer. His face was paler than before, his hands trembling as he lit a cigarette. "You're still here," he said, not looking up. "Thought you'd be smarter than that." "I tried to leave," I said, sliding into the booth. "Something stopped me." He snorted a dry, bitter sound. "Told you, boy, you're marked. The water's in you now, and the Keeper knows it. He's been here longer than the town, longer than the mountains. The Cherokee knew him, called him the Shadow that takes. The company knew too when they built the mine. They found that stone, your Mineral X, back in the 1800s, sold it to men in suits who paid more than coal was worth. Every time someone broke it, the Keeper came, and every time people disappeared." I leaned forward, my voice shaking. "What is it? The stone, the water, what are they?" Pritchard's eyes met mine, dark and hollow. "The stone's his heart, or what's left of it. Break it, and you wake him. The water's his blood, opens a door to where he waits. You drank it, Kane. You're part of him now. I wanted to argue, to call him crazy, but the memory of those orange eyes stopped me. I saw them in the ice, I said. Jimmy, Cal, others. They're still alive, aren't they? He shook his head. Alive, dead, it don't matter where they are. The keeper's got them in a place between. You saw the door, didn't you? The hole in the wall? I nodded, my throat tight. It's gone now. It ain't gone, he said. It's waiting. And it'll open again, 'cause you're marked. I left the bar, his words burning in my mind. I couldn't stay away from the mine, not anymore. If Jimmy and Cal were trapped in that ice chamber, I had to find them. I had to know what the keeper wanted. The next day, I went back, pickaxe in hand, my heart pounding like a drum. The mine was quieter than usual, the air thick with dampness. Jimmy and Cal were there, working a new tunnel, but they didn't look at me. Their movements were wrong, too stiff, too precise, like puppets on strings. I kept my distance, watching the walls for signs of water or that orange glow. I found the spot where the hole had been, near the chamber, where I'd broken Mineral X. The wall was slick now, water seeping through cracks, glowing faintly orange. I swung my pickaxe, the stone crumbling like wet clay, revealing flecks of Mineral X that pulsed like a heartbeat. My breath caught. I dug faster, ignoring the shouts of Jimmy and Cal in the distance. The wall gave way, and there it was, the hole, glowing orange, wider this time, big enough to walk through. I stepped inside, the air freezing, my breath fogging. The tunnel stretched ahead, its walls smooth and icy, studded with Mineral X that pulsed in rhythm with my heart. The plink-plink of water was deafening now, echoing from all directions. The tunnel opened into a vast chamber, larger than before, its floor a frozen lake that cracked under my boots. The walls were ice, clear and thick, filled with shapes, human shapes, frozen in mid-scream. I saw Jimmy, Cal, and others I didn't know, their eyes wide, their hands pressed against the ice as if trying to break free. But it wasn't just them. There were dozens, maybe hundreds, stretching back into the darkness. Miners from decades past, their faces etched with terror. A sound came from the far end of the chamber, sharp and grating like metal on ice. It grew louder, closer, and I knew it was him, the keeper. I backed away, my lantern shaking, and saw him in the distance. A tall figure in black, his face a twisted mass of scars, his eyes burning orange. He didn't move, but his presence pressed against me, heavy and suffocating. My name echoed, a rasp that cut through the air. I ran, the ice cracking beneath me, the tunnel twisting around me like a living thing. The keeper's voice followed, low and relentless. You signed your soul to me. I stumbled through the hole, back to the mine, and when I looked back, the hole was gone. My hands were sticky with orange-tinted water, my clothes damp. I ran to the surface, ignoring the shouts of Jimmy and Cal, or whatever they were. Outside, in the dirt, I saw it, a footprint, glowing orange, leading toward town,